You want to learn how to do battle damage in Photoshop. You want to learn how to fuck characters up beyond human comprehension. What is wrong with you? But you did come to the right place. Our subject, or should I rather say victim, for this totally normal and sane tutorial will be Mark Grayson. You also may know him as... You know, for a guy who's supposedly invincible, he sure as hell does get the ever-living shit kicked out of him every episode. So it's in character. Got this render right here that I definitely didn't spend the whole week drawing, so let's fuck him up. Now, you see, when it comes to creating battle damage, in most of the cases it only comes down to three things, which are rips on the clothing, dirt and blood. Additionally, for more mechanized characters, you're gonna want exposed wires and some sparks, but that's a lesson for another video. Starting off with rips. In order for all the blood and wounds to be visible, at least on Mark's end, it has to come out of somewhere. No fucking Start by painting the mask for the rips. As you can see, I'm just using a regular hard round brush, going back and forth between black and white to get sharper edges. Try to paint logically, and by that I mean shape by the clothing and the body, so it ends up realistic. Paint curves and straight lines wherever they're needed, respectively. And please, I can't stress this enough, use reference. No matter what you're painting, if you think you know how it looks, you don't. You absolutely don't. These are the ones I used here. Nothing crazy, just something to look at so you don't paint goofy shit. Now, once you have the mask, you're gonna need to paint in the skin layer. Unless somehow you already have it underneath, in which case congratulations, you're weird, and you can skip this step. And for the rest of the normal crowd, you're gonna create a solid color layer and pick a nice mid-tone from the already visible skin area. Add your preferred shadow and highlight layers, solid color on multiply and brightness for me, and just go to town and paint that shit. Also, don't stress it too much. If you plan to cover most of the visible skin with blood and dirt like me, you won't have to go hyper-realistic. Just make it make sense. When you're done, add a little drop shadow in the blending options, and you're all set. Next up is the eye. This one will depend on the type of character you have and the damage you want to create. But the principle will work the same for any brittle surface. In this case, glass. Now add the eye, which you can paint, or be cheap like me and use a stock. Make sure to paint in some cracks on the glass and a nice cast shadow beneath. Now here comes the fun part. You're gonna need some cloth over the ribs in order to make it look realistic. Add a new mask layer and start painting. My brush of choice here was surprisingly a grass brush. I found it works the best. But it's not a rule. You can do this with almost any grungy brush you want. Make sure to connect the edges together. Those will be the strings. I have some of the cloth hanging, which will make it realistic and more dynamic. When you're done with the mask, you're gonna want to give it some color. Just pick the nearest colors and drop them in manually. Try to have some variety. Maybe make it a bit 3D, with lighter and darker values. Add a drop shadow to this as well, and you're done. Stage 2. Dirt. This one's quite simple, really. Just make a solid color layer, set it on multiply, pick your favorite grunge brush and go to town. Not many rows here, just make sure there's the most dirt around the cuts, on the skin too, but sprinkle it in everywhere. Just don't overdo it. Finally, it's time to paint the blood. Me personally, I find this part the most fun. Crazy, I know. I like to split the blood into two categories, dry and fresh. Look at dry blood as the shit you spam. Could be Mark's, could be someone else's, right? And fresh is coming straight out of him. On the technical side, fresh blood is gonna have shadows and reflections to it, and dry won't. That's really the only distinction. Start with two solid colors on multiply and overlay. Take a directional brush, textured or not, doesn't really matter, and start painting in where you want the blood to be flowing. Later, add the desired reflections, some shadows, and consider the guy from Fortnite wounded. Now it's time for the best part. Dry blood. You're gonna need a minimum of gazillion blood brushes for this one. Use them all, and start splashing. Go stupid, go crazy, I don't really care. But use different brushes, switch them constantly, rotate them, resize them, because you don't want repetition. As a finishing touch, you can take a mixer brush. I got this one from Benny of all people, and paint in some smudges. Make it pop. And you're done. Now all that is left is to add a background, some finishing touches, and you get yourself an Invincible piece. Or so they say. Don't forget, you got all the brush downloads in the description. Besides that, I hope you lads enjoyed the video and actually learned something, unlike the last time. So yeah, let me know, and I will catch you soon. Cheers!